My ex once convinced me to inflate his belly with a pump through his butt and then use a strap-on on him. He was really enjoying the process, but then it turned out he couldn't deflate like a damn helium balloon. The air got trapped in his stomach and wouldn't come out. I got scared, but he said like, "It's fine, happens all the time." He suffered all night but slowly deflated. I couldn't sleep at all because of his farting, burping, and groaning. In the morning he said it was an incredible high, and then we broke up. One time I stayed over at my grandpa's to help him pick nettles. The catch was, we didn't have any gloves, and the nearest store was 3 miles away, too lazy to walk. So I told Grandpa, "Hey, run to the store for gloves." He wouldn't hear of it, saying, "Old age ain't no joy." So I offered to chip in for a bottle of whiskey. Without a second thought, he hopped on his bike and pedaled off to God knows where for the gloves. I sat there waiting for 3 hours. No Grandpa. I went out onto the porch, and there he was, lying in the nettles with the bottle. Who knows how long he'd been there. And he'd put the gloves on his feet, saying it's easier to kick the damn nettles that way. My dad has always been a little weird. We have a cat. Mom used to spoil him with all sorts of elite dry food. That's why he got sick, kidney stones. After that, the cat wouldn't eat that crap. So my dad bought him 2 packs of wet food and dumped one into the cat's bowl. He still wouldn't eat it, so my dad opened the second pack and squeezed it into his own soup. When I was in 2nd grade, I really didn't want to go to class, so I made up a story that he'd been beaten up in the bathroom during break. I described 3 boys from grades 8 and 9. I even gave detailed features, like one boy having one eyebrow lower than the other. A security guard believed me. We walked from classroom to classroom during lessons, looking for the kid. And we actually found a boy who looked exactly like my made-up description. The guard took him by the hand, and we went to the vice principal, who was known for being very strict. It turned out the boy's mother was a lawyer. Because of my fake story, the security guard was fired. Had grown up in an orphanage and really loved kids. Thinking about it now, I am ashamed. Once when I was in about 5th grade, I was taking a test and couldn't solve one problem. So, I took a photo of it and sent it to my grandpa, who's good at math, with the caption "help." The photo didn't send, and my grandpa showed up at school with an axe to sort things out. There was a girl in my class who, well, let's just say she was prone to audible emissions. We sat together at the start of the school year, until my eyes literally watered from the fumes. It might have been tolerable if Shed just owned it, but Shed always denied everything, wide-eyed, innocent, as if the smell just materialized on its own. One afternoon, my friend and I walked into the classroom and headed straight for her corner. The moment we sat down, we were enveloped in that familiar fragrant cloud. The usual denial followed. It wasn't me. That's when we decided on a proof of concept experiment. For the next few days, we carried small plastic bags. The next time it happened, we acted quickly, capturing a sample of the air, holding it up to her face, and popping it right under her nose. 5 years have passed, and only now, looking back, do I feel the full weight of how cruel that was. Sorry, Alice. I was riding home on the bus. At a stop, some Roma people got on and started pestering the passengers, asking to tell their fortunes. Thinking I didn't have much money on me, I decided to test my resistance to their hypnosis. As a result of talking to them, I personally handed over all my money. I had been seeing a guy for about a month and a half. I'm a virgin. He kept asking for a long time to perform cunnilingus on me. I had a strong psychological barrier because my cousin had once attempted to rape me. But, trusting him and giving in to his persuasions that at 19 it's about time, I agreed, but only on the condition that it would be just cunnilingus, nothing more. He agreed, swore he wouldn't touch me further. In the middle of it, pressing down on my shoulders with both hands, he said, "You're ready now, I know," and tried to penetrate me. At that moment, I remembered the past experience and threw up on him. By the way, that saved me back then too. After that, we broke up, and now I think that every time during sex I'll throw up. In our senior year, we got a young math teacher. She was great, took us ice skating, to the movies as a whole class. We had a blast. Once, she suggested a trip to the cycling track. She walked up to the class and announced enthusiastically, "So, guys ready to go to the cycling f***?" A momentary pause as she realized her slip. She turned deep red. The whole class erupted in roaring laughter. A couple of years later, we ran into her, and she was pregnant. One of my friends grinned and asked, "So, Miss Johnson, Did someone finally take you to the cycling My breast started growing very early, around the age of 8. My mom even took me to a doctor, worried it might be a tumor. For a couple of years, I wore loose t-shirt, and nothing was visible from the outside. But by the time I was 10, it was clear I needed a bra. We lived in the north, where people generally mature later. None of my friends even started developing until they were 14. The things I heard over those years, and not from kids, but from adults, teachers, mothers, and grandmothers of my acquaintances. For example, my homeroom teacher once said, "It'd grow up to be a prostitute because decent girls don't develop secondary sexual characteristics that early." And get this, she taught biology. Of all subjects, she should have known how the body works and how puberty progresses. I don't think I have any psychological trauma left from it, but I still don't understand how that fool was allowed to work with children. One time I was hanging out with my friend. He went home and didn't come back out for a long time. I decided to call him. I opened my contacts and, without noticing, dialed not Max but Mom. I didn't realize it until my mom answered the phone, and I blurted out, "Yo, where the fuck are you, you asshole? I'm so fucking tired of waiting for you, you hairy-ass piece of shit." I dated two girls for quite a while and couldn't figure out which one was better, just couldn't choose. It wasn't that I was in love with both of them, no. I've always approached relationships pragmatically. I don't really believe in love at all. So, I decided to test them both. On International Women's Day, I gave each of them a sack of onions. Well, as it turned out, I've been single ever since, and for some reason, I can't seem to find anyone now. There's this girl living in the house across from me. Too shy to actually introduce myself, I spent 2 weeks watching her through binoculars from my window, imagining I was some kind of cool spy. Last night, I looked over and saw a piece of paper taped to her window. It said, "Enough watching. Better come over for a visit." So I went. Turned out, some man answered the door and punched me in the face. One late evening, I was walking home from work. The street was dark, with only 2 windows lit in the buildings across the way. I looked closer and couldn't believe my eyes. 2 girls were taking turns flashing each other. Just then, I heard a voice. "Hey man, hide with us so you don't get spotted." Under the fir trees nearby, several guys were already crouched, watching the whole show. This happened recently. I was walking down the street and saw a little sparrow drowning in a puddle. I couldn't just walk by. I grabbed a stick and tried to nudge it to safety, since the puddle was pretty deep. Long story short, I fell face first into the water. Only then did I realize the sparrow was just taking a bath. Now I wear glasses. We're driving in the car with my girlfriend. She's climbing from the front seat to the back, where the water is, and back again. So I decided to play a prank and lightly tap the brake, but somehow she flew into the window and smashed it to smithereens with her head. The windshield needs replacing, but she didn't even get a bump. A head of cast iron. Good thing she didn't realize it was a prank.